Hello everybody and welcome back to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth and today I'm going to be talking to you about a few of my favorite middle grade books. Okay, so like I said, today's video is all about my favorite middle grade books, or at least a few of them. I have them separated into two stacks. One is books that are not part of a series, while the other is books that are a series. And let's just get started chatting about them. The first one I want to talk about is There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom by Louis Sachar. Now, Louis Sachar, or Sacher, I've heard it pronounced both ways. I didn't look it up, of course, but we call him Sachar. And now Louis Sachar is the genius behind Sideways Stories from Wayside School, which we probably all have either read or had read to us. And if you haven't read them or haven't read them recently, please go check them out. It is a great series. There are, I think, 3 books. And then there's one that is Sideways Arithmetic from Wayside School, where you can try to figure out these really weird math equations that include the alphabet and somebody's purple cat, and just like, it's amazing. I worked on these with 4th grade and it really helps you learn to think outside the box and be analytical about things. And since I'm not the most analytical person, that was amazing. But we're not talking about that series right now. What we're talking about is this standalone, There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. And basically, there is a bully in school, and they are, everybody's scared of him. And the new school counselor comes in and decides that he can be better than he is and that he can change. And so he's trying, but he's not so sure it's going to work. And it's just a beautiful story. A lot of the times, the books that focus on changing and growing up in middle grade focus on girls. So having a boy be the focus of the book is a refreshing change, and it's very well done. Another good book is Deep and Dark and Dangerous by Mary Downing Hahn. Mary Downing Hahn writes sort of thriller-esque, horror-esque, supernatural-esque kind of books for middle grade. This one I just finished at the beginning of this summer, and it was really interesting and really well written. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Basically, it is a ghost story that kind of spans generations, and it was very, I don't want to say cute because it is thrillery, but it was well done. Then we have The Lost Track of Time by Paige Britt and illustrated by Lee White. This one is super cute. This is about a little girl who has all of her time scheduled all the time by her mother, and she really wants to be a writer, but she feels like she's not writing to the best of her ability because she only has about 15 minutes a day and she has to hide her journals. So her mother doesn't feel like writing is a good use of time, but she really loves to write, and she's trying, and she's starting to get down on herself because of her inability to come up with like the perfect story to prove her worth as a writer to her mother, when she falls in between the lines on a blank piece of paper and finds herself in the land of the realm of possibility. And in the realm of possibility, if you think of something, you become like a moodler. You're thinking, you're pondering, you're moodling, and your ideas will come out and become things. And so she is in search of the great moodler to try to help her find her way home. And along the way, they have to defeat the evil Kronos, who wants to schedule everybody and take away their moodling time. And it's really cute, even for adults, to kind of remember why you want to write and remind yourself that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get it down. You can always edit and revise later. And then the final standalone I want to talk about is The Island of Dr. Libras by Chris Grabenstein. This book is about Billy, who goes to spend the summer by a lake with his mom, and there is an island in the middle of the lake where book characters seem to be coming to life, and he's having adventures and trying to figure out what is going on. And it is a great book. It is a lot of fun, and I think everybody needs to pick this and the rest of Chris Grabenstein's books up. I don't have the others stacked up next to me, but if you enjoy books about books, this book and the Mr. Limoncello's Library books, that would be Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library and Mr. Limoncello's Library Olympics, are all amazing books to read. They're hilarious. They're sassy, they are well written, and they are all about books, book characters, and the love of stories. So definitely check those out. Those were all of my standalone book recommendations for middle grade, and now I'm going to try to quickly go through my series recommendations, although I've kind of already recommended a couple of series for you. First is So You Want to Be a Wizard by Diane Duane. I've told the story fairly often, but when I was younger, I thought it was only a trilogy, and I found out just this year that it is actually a series that has 9 or 10, I think, books in it. So this is the first book. I finally bought it just recently, actually. It was published in 1983, I believe. Yeah, 1983. But it's great. This follows Nita and Kit as they learn to become wizards, and then Nita's little sister gets in on it, and it kind of follows them, and they meet other wizards, and they save the world a couple of times, and it's all great fun. I just finished book 4, and it was the first time I'd ever read that book, so I'm moving through the series again and having a blast. Next, I want to talk about a book that came out last year and whose sequel just came out last month. That is Sarafina and the Black Cloak by Robert Beatty. Sarafina and the Twisted Staff came out, I believe, last month. And this book follows Sarafina, who lives in the basement of the Biltmore estate and is very different from other kids. And you follow her as you find out why she is different and how that's a good thing and all sorts of wonderful things. The cover is gorgeous and the story is well told. I did this as a buddy read with Akos, and we both enjoyed it immensely. Then I want to talk about the Babysitters Club. These books were amazing in like the 80s, the late 80s, and the 90s. Ann M. Martin wrote these babies, and every time we went anywhere, I would make my parents check to see if there was a new BSC book out. I've been rereading a few of them, and if I ever go to a thrift store or something that has Babysitter Club books, I pick them up even if I already have a copy of that particular book, just so I can have them in my library. And I make the excuse that, when I have a classroom and I'm in need of a classroom library again, then I can slide these puppies in there and new generations can read the Babysitters Club. And they should, because these are amazing. Another book series that we snatch up like that if we find them in thrift stores or antique stores, although it doesn't normally happen. They're very difficult to find now. That is Trixie Belden. This one is The Happy Valley Mystery. It's book number 9. Mom actually found some Trixie Belden books at a thrift store recently and brought them home to me. This is in very good condition, by the way, just telling you because I'm proud of it. These books were published in the 50s and 60s and maybe in the beginning of the 70s. They follow a group of friends from Sleepyside, New York, who are very big into school functions. They have a club that they run called the Bob Whites of the Glen, and Honey and Trixie, who are best friends, like to solve mysteries, and so they pull Jim, who is Honey's big brother, and Brian and Mart, who are Trixie's brothers, into these mysteries, and they wind up traveling all over the place. And it's kind of like Nancy Drew, except I connect better to this group dynamic than I usually connect to the Nancy Drew books. And don't get me wrong, because I love Nancy Drew and I do connect to those books and I think you should read them, but Trixie Belden feels a little bit more natural to me. And then finally, the final series I want to talk to you about is a trilogy. It is the 100 Cupboards trilogy by N.D. Wilson. This is a fantasy trilogy that follows Henry York, who goes to spend the summer with his aunt and uncle and cousins and finds magical cupboards to different realms lining his attic wall, which is an outside wall that should not have anything of the sort there. So he kind of gets drawn into mystery and fantasy, and all 3 books are amazing, and you should definitely check them out. I believe this one was published in 2010, so 2007. So it's a more recent fantasy series, and it isn't an epic in the sense that it's huge. It's not, but it's pretty epic in the sense that it kind of focuses on a large scope of things and is very well told. I think you should definitely check it out. That is my selection for the middle grade recommendations. If you have any recommendations that you would like to give us, please leave them down below. If you want to chat about any of the books I've mentioned, or if you have any recommendation videos, reviews, chats, etc. over middle grades, please link them up down below for us to go and check out. I will see you guys soon. Please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Bye.